3 months, 6 months, 11 months, it all seems like far too long, but in retrospect, maybe I should have admitted to knowing them yet refused to name them, that way I'd have only had to come for 6 months instead of 11. We spent the best part of an hour discussing the ins and outs of the story she'd read, as well as discussing our own misdemeanors and how we might have handled things differently. It was a long boring hour to spend perched on a stool with no backrest. "Right, let's have some fun, shall we?" the woman suggested after we'd returned our stools to the end of the hall. She asked for 2 volunteers and told them to fetch the net stands, 2 long poles on weighted bases between which a badminton net hangs. We play balloon volleyball, but since there's 7 in our group, 1 stands out, leaving an even 3 on each side. But they don't just stand and watch, they're given a skipping rope to play with until 3 points have been scored, then they swap places with 1 member of the winning side. Playing balloon volleyball is far more sedate than proper volleyball, but it's still good fun. I almost forgot I was wearing my dress for a few seconds here and there. When it was my turn to stand out, I confessed to not knowing how to skip when I was given the rope. "Well, the important thing is you try," the woman told me, and try I did. I also failed to get into the swing of it. After 5 minutes out of the volleyball game, I hoped I'd be able to put the rope down and begin enjoying myself again, but the woman in charge of our group suggested that I continue practicing my skipping. "Every girl I know can skip with a rope," she said. "Why you boys struggle to play such a simple game, I honestly don't know." I continued trying and failing to skip as the others in my group played balloon volleyball. I felt like such a ninny in my prissy white dress, Pella in knee socks and girly shoes, struggling to do something that girls find so simple. Afterwards, the woman asked if I have a skipping rope at home. I shook my head. She suggested that I ask my mother to buy me one and spend the week practicing. The next activity was the book group, and since it's my first time, all I can do is sit and listen to the readings and discussions. One is reading a book called Heidi, others read Mallory Towers, Anne of Green Gables, The Lost Princess, What Katie Did, and Pollyanna. They all sounded like boring girls' books to me, and listening to the passages read out, they were definitely boring girls' books. At the end of the book group session, I was given a book to read. "Can I choose a different one?" I asked, on being given a book titled A Little Princess. "You can have a different one after you've read this one," I was told. "Now put it in your handbag so you don't lose it," she said, before asking if I've wet my nappy yet. I shook my head and felt myself begin to blush. It's embarrassing enough having to wear one, let alone being asked if I've wet myself in front of the others. "I have, miss," one of the others meekly admitted. "Okay," the woman said. "You can have a dry one after we've done some dancing." This turned out to be the worst activity of the day. The hour-long English country dancing class involved having to hold hands with a boy, curtsy, and follow the steps whilst some jaunty folk music blared out from a battered old cassette player. I found myself stepping back and forth, twirling in unison, skipping and prancing whilst my dress swished this way and that, and I hated every minute of it. I felt like such a sissy, and by the looks of it, everyone else did too, girls included.